everyone. Welcome back to Monster of the Week Samhain. Our official first session. Everyone is here. We're ready to party. I am very excited. We're going to go around, introduce ourselves, who we're playing, all of that good stuff. And then we'll do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to jump right into it. And I'm very excited. First up, we will be using safety tools for this game. While I run Monster of the Week a little goofy at some parts, anything has the possibility to get a little serious, and I want everyone to be comfortable in the game and in chats. We'll be using X, N, and O cards. We have lines and bells in the background. Also chat if anything makes you feel uncomfortable. Never feel obligated to stay. You can leave at any time. We don't want you to feel like you have to sit here and make yourself uncomfortable just to watch a show with your friends. I'm Katie. I use she/her pronouns. I'm the keeper, and we're gonna go around and introduce everyone. What about you, Seth? You're up first.
Hi, Seth Evander Hubbard, and I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Charlotte Vanderbrook, Charlie for short. She uses she, her pronouns.
Dingo. What about you?
I'm Dingo, she, her, and I am playing Sunny Barlow, the monstrous. She also uses she, her.
Jess. What about you?
It's a me, Jess. I use they, them pronouns, and I will be playing Hunter, who is the spooky playbook, and also uses they, them pronouns.
Petra. What about you?
Hi, I'm Petra. I'm using she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Thomas, who's a flake and uses he, him pronouns.
And last but not least, Greg.
Hi everybody, I'm Greg, he, him. I will be playing Ben Wright, the Chosen, also using he, him pronouns. I am super psyched to play Samhain. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. I'm surrounded by new friends. I couldn't be more excited. Katie, take us away.
Like last week, we're just going to do a little bit of explanation of Jess and Dingo's characters, just so we can sort of explain the playbook a little bit, what they picked, their relationship to the other characters, just to have a little bit of background. We're going to start with Dingo. If you want to tell us a little bit of backstory on Sunny, you don't have to get too in depth, but what she is, what she does, what her monstrous quality is, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Sunny is the monstrous. She's about 24 years old, and some years ago, probably when she was just becoming an adult, she became a ghoul. So she is a zombie. She has to consume some kind of human organic material to sort of stave away the hunger. But it has some interesting and beneficial qualities to it as well. I don't know really what else to say other than that.
Yeah, that's perfect. If you wanted to, I think it would probably be best to go through your any kind of relationship ideas you had. In Monster of the Week, you have history notes that you make with each of the hunters, and the way we're playing it is they're sort of in a second. If this was a TV show, second season, so these characters have known each other for about 6 months, give or take, and Sunny, one we can definitely start with is Thomas, since you have a familial relationship with Thomas.
Yeah, I was actually gonna start there. So the potential history that Petra and I chose for Thomas and Sunny was close relations or a distant descendant, and we decided that Thomas and Sunny are half siblings, and they've been half siblings for a really long time. They were very close. Until some things related to Thomas's his sight started to present itself, and they were even close through that. But I think when Sunny started to go through her own ghoulish change, she started pushing him away, and he didn't really notice, and he was going through a lot of other things, and so they got really petty with each other, and things kind of blew up into a big argument, and now they're sort of estranged. Things are a little awkward, a little tense, though obviously they still work together. And otherwise, Petra, unless there's anything you want to add.
No, that was pretty much it. I mean, we haven't really established how we actually ran into each other and then how that came about, but I guess we can figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other one that we sort of talked about beforehand, for Ben the Chosen, we sort of talked about they tried to slay you, but you proved you were on the side of good. And I'm supposed to ask you what convinced Ben that I was on the side of good.
For Ben, it would be something really, really simple. He's a writer who has gone by his gut for the majority of his life, and it might have been something. There was something in the eyes, which will be a theme too with Thomas, but there was something in the eyes that just said, there's more than this label. And it prevented him from doing it. And he goes with his gut on just about everything. And hopefully it pays off and you don't eat him later. So it would be.
Well, we'll see. I'll try.
That's all I can ask, right?
Technically, all you need to give her is just a little toenail here and there. She's fine.
Okay, first of all, we talked about this.
Yeah.
No.
But it's crunchy. It's like you've got something to work with for a long time.
You have to stop now.
No more. That's I'm gonna be doing my best to put a veil over the consuming of human organic material.
Only toenails though. That's
I'm going to I ban myself from this game. But yeah, that sounds perfect. I think Sunny tries very hard to present herself as more high spirits and lively than she actually looks. So I could see it being something in the eyes that sort of convinced Ben. So I have a couple of thoughts, some potentials. There's one that I thought was a potential for anybody. They saved you from another hunter who was prepared to kill you. Ask them what happened. They are tied to your curse or origin. Tell them how. I thought maybe that was a good one for the spooky. And then you saved them from another of your kind and prevented reprisals against that individual creature. Maybe it's another good one, or maybe it has a hold over you. And I thought maybe that had potential for the professional, but I could see they saved you from another hunter also possibly being the professional.
Yeah, I like the second one that you bailed me out of kind of a snafu.
Yeah.
And this is definitely something that it doesn't have to be elaborated on in depth right now. We can sort of, see how it comes out in play. And also it goes without saying that this is just what Sunny sees as a relationship in history. So for Jess, for your character, even if Sunny sees them as a connection to their monstrous thing, it might not be that you see that the same way, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if that is something that you wanted to go with, because they basically Sunny has to tell you how that you're tied together by your curse or origin anyway.
Word.
But if that's what you wanted to go with, yeah, we can definitely go with that for sure.
Yeah, I think for the spooky, I'd like to do they are tied to your curse or origin, or they saved you from another hunter, which I think could also tie in very well with Ben's.
Do you have an idea for how they would be tied to you? Because if not, we can go for the other one.
I left it sort of open for us to explore how Sunny became a ghoul. I thought maybe that was something we can explore through play or talk about during history. But maybe we hear a little bit more about Hanuel.
I like that. Yeah, Jess.
Yes. So I've never played Monster of the Week. I do have plenty of dipping of the toes empowered by the apocalypse. So this is intriguing to me. So the spooky has a lot of interesting moves and cool things that they can do. I ended up picking a lot of like, I see dead things. So with that, I think Hanul has spent a lot of time on the East Coast, which is a little more historical. So it's been kind of like always on the fringe of like, I see some fuzzy spirits, some little wisps here and there, but like only now has it been like, hey, those are like people things and spirit things, and you may be able to communicate with those things kind of situation. I ended up being weirder than I needed to be, and I took past lives as the basic move, which is like I can see previous incarnations of myself, all the flowers. I was thinking, so like with Hanul, they're in school for their master's degree, and they want to really spend. Prior to being a hunter, they were like, "Hey, let's do creative arts therapy. Let's practice helping people," and secretly trying to weave in like, how do I help these spirits go away from these people that are haunting them? For connections, I think Thomas, I wanted to bind with, I hope they can help me control my powers. I know we loosely talked about like being married into some loose like second cousin situation, like by marriage, and so we knew of each other. So yeah.
Also, I have it could also be I have this history thing that I thought might work for Hanul, where it just says everything pointed towards working with them, and so now you're working with them. It could have been just Thomas asking the cards or just listening to the whispers, and they'd be like, "Poke, poke, poke, there, that person, go."
I like it.
There.
Yeah.
And so Thomas was trying to just introduce himself in a non-creepy weird way, and yeah,
that's beautiful. That sounds like it has so much potential. For other like potential histories, I like the idea of having at least one old friend that I trust completely in the crew. That's one of the ties. Perhaps Sunny, or
I was kind of thinking about that because I was kind of thinking that maybe they're very similar in age, so I thought maybe they went to school together.
Word.
I would have had like psychology classes together and stuff.
Oh hell yeah.
And I think that might also tie in with, since I'm very close to you, that also ties in meeting back up with Thomas down the line.
Beautiful. I like it.
I do too.
The other options, you've known each other for some time, but since your powers manifested, you kept them at a distance emotionally. Oh, there's an intriguing one. You used your powers on them one time. Decide if it was for selfish reasons or not, and tell them if they found out about it. So I was looking over Charlie's page, and I'm like, I'm immediately gonna be drawn to this person on a like personality scale. So I'm like, maybe I just try to like peek in and see like who's haunting you. Do you have spirits
Absolutely.
around you?
Yeah.
And yeah, would that be something that that you would let Charlie know that you've done?
I would like to say that might come out later, not like when I did it, but eventually there'll be a fireside chat. Be like, hey, BT dubs.
You got ghosts.
Yeah.
Quick scope there.
Yeah, I like that. That's very good.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we can probably hop in unless there's any other pertinent, specific history you wanted to point out, Jess. But otherwise, we can build it through play and learn through play.
I'm ready to dive.
Yeah, awesome. You did have one more move that you can pick. On your character sheet, I was just looking.
I wasn't sure if like the past lives was gonna
No,
take it up.
that is whereas other characters have like they can use magic. That's sort of your
Okay.
basic magic roll. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll think on that one.
Yeah, you have time, just whenever you're ready. But yeah, we are going to dive in. So it's mid-October and the temperature is lowering in the crisp fall air. There's no snow yet, though the forecast has threatened it for weeks. The small town of Brookings, New York is decorated already. Halloween streamers line the streets of the small main road. There are jack-o'-lanterns that sit outside businesses, paper skeletons and witches hang in the windows as the smell of cinnamon and sweets and cold surround everyone. Somewhere, a phone rings. The lilting techno sound breaks through the surroundings. Charlotte, this is your phone. Where are you right now as this interrupts whatever you might be doing?
I think I'm just getting some quiet time in. I think I'm just at maybe a park of some sort by a waterfront, just kind of in autumnal, flowy, dark clothes, and I pick up immediately.
The voice on the other end you would recognize immediately as your boss, Lillian Ashford, a researcher at the Rye House Institute. Her greeting to you is a very curt, "Hello, Charlotte.
Lillian,
How are you doing today?"
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I'm not doing too well, given as the girl you're in Brookings to investigate has gone missing.
Yes, that's understandable.
Late last night, she was recovering in the hospital. Was under the impression you were keeping an eye on her, but now she's gone. No trace.
I was doing my best. It was an unforeseen event.
Does your best involve just not being at the hospital?
Sometimes I do have to sleep, Lillian.
Well, that's not why we hired you, is it?
I suppose not.
How is your team going?
They're going fine.
Well,
I'll let you know if there's any problems.
Well, I would hope so, and I hope you do remember that our reach is wide, and we see all, and we are watching constantly. You know, all it takes is one mistake.
Understood. Anything else?
No, if you need anything, you know where we are. We're
Perfect.
Always around.
Have a wonderful day, Lillian.
Yeah, she's hung up before you could get your goodbye out.
Okay.
Where are you? What are your plans for today, Charlotte? Where are you heading to?
That's a good question because so I was this disappeared girl was my ward apparently in some capacity.
Yeah.
And she disappeared last night?
Mm-hmm. She disappeared the night before.
Okay. Had I been to? She was at a hospital, right?
Yes, she was at the local hospital here in Brookings. It's a pretty to be such a small town, it's a pretty nice hospital, more of a privatized type of medicine kind of place. It's Brookings is a very retirement heavy community.
Okay.
So it's a very nice, well-regarded hospital.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that since she disappeared when I wasn't there, then I haven't been back yet.
Yeah, we can say that
Okay.
for sure.
And Lillian wants me to get the team together for this. Is that how this works?
Get the team together. so you know that you were supposed to be keeping an eye on Lucy. You also know that when you are on missions like this, any kind of thing, you are a consultant. You are sort of there to get these people's skills, use them in the best sort of way, and try to get to the bottom of whatever occurrences might be going on.
Okay. So was it just my responsibility to watch over Lucy, or was this the team's responsibility?
Your responsibility was Lucy, with the understanding that the team is there to help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did totally screw up then. Good to know. I think I send out kind of an Avengers Assemble group text, like I received a call from Rye House. I'm going to the hospital. Maybe I'll see you there.
All right. And with that, Charlotte, you head that way. Ben, you get this text, and as you read over it, I mean, it's not anything out of the ordinary. It's sort of the normal kind of thing you expect from Charlotte. But as you're reading it on your phone, the words begin to coalesce into this image. It almost looks like a movie playing out on your phone screen. You see this body of a man with a bull, with the head of a bull, at least 8 or 9 feet, towering over this young girl at its feet, with blonde hair matted, with blood that covers her face and most of her upper body. There's a circle of robed figures around them. The girl is standing there beside this figure. Her eyes are red, but her eyes are determined. And she turns and looks at the figure towering behind her, and it looks down at her. Between them, it looks like there's some unspoken message that passes there. She holds her hand out, and the figure takes it, and she nods. The figures that stand around them in the circle falls to the ground. And then the text comes back clear, a message from Charlotte that she's going to the hospital in this group text that you all share. Where are you at, Ben? What are you up to?
What time of the day did we say it was? It was.
It's I would say it's probably noon.
Ben would be in the whatever would pass for the local park, and he'd be playing chess with some of the older residents. You said it was a retirement type community, so heavy retirees. So yeah, he'd be sitting there playing chess, kind of not holding court, but joining in with the older population here in Brookings. So he would know that he would be beaten. He's currently beaten. 3 moves, he's going to be beaten. And he would simply topple his king and say, "You had me. You had my number all day. All day."
I'm beginning to think you're letting me win here, son.
Oh, of course not. This is my pride. We're talking about, Tony. I'm not gonna just give up my pride. This is chess. This is the game of royalty, of kings and queens, and
we both know neither of us are royalty, Ben. But I'm starting to think you don't really believe in me. I could beat you if you really let me try.
If you think that I've been letting you, maybe let up a bit, see if I take the bait. I don't, but, and he stands up and just smiles and offers his hand. Tomorrow?
Yeah, he has his hands up in sort of this like he's trying not to argue with you, but he takes your hand and shakes it and gives you a nod. Same time, same place. If I'm not here, then you know something's wrong.
Well, don't say that.
Well, I mean, when you're my age, you sort of got to plan for the inevitability of the future.
I think you're just trying to duck me. Listen, my money's on you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sometimes you just get tired of being beat. It just sort of gives you a smirk.
It's hell to get old. It's hell to get old, as he walks off.
Yeah, you heading toward the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thomas, where are you at as you get this text message from Charlotte?
I'm in my kitchen. Well,
Okay.
kitchen. I mean, it's the bigger room of my apartment is the living room area, and I have a little workspace there. And on the left side, where there's a big window front and a door leading out to a tiny balcony. There's a kitchen nook, and I'm working at the kitchen counter. And behind me, you can see one half of my very vast succulent collection, and John just a lot of plants. And I have various glasses and tiny earthen pots standing in front of me on the counter. And then there's this little roll your own cigarette machine thingy. I don't know what the technical term for it is, and then rolling paper that has already been inscribed with some glyphs and runes. And so I'm just mixing new warding cigarettes for myself while keeping an eye on my cell phone, not because I'm expecting anything to hear from Charlie, but this morning I posted a new couple of photos on Instagram for my followers, which is also the reason why I do actually have a little bit of makeup on. And so as when I hear a ping sound, even though it sounds different, the first split second I'm like, ooh, another like, another comment, let's see. Gotta keep my followers happy.
Yeah.
But then I see that it's indeed Charlie.
Two things. One, just to remind you, you did roll a 7 on your connect the dots, so you do have one hold. You can ask anytime during the mystery to I said that word weird mystery to ask
It's
one
a
of the questions. Mystery. But yeah, I just wanted to remind you of that. You don't have to ask it right now, just whenever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your phone does have like a sort of your notification wall on your phone. You do have like a ton of likes. You have comments, talking about how attractive you look for the day, and whatever you might be advertising, that kind of thing. But you do see the message from Charlotte, just sort of saying that she's going to be at the hospital. Hope she sees you all there.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I finish because I have to make sure that I take enough cigarettes with me. Keep the radio spirit on the, or rather to keep. So I thought about a little bit about that, but how his apparition problem works. So I would say that for the longest time he thought that these apparitions were just showing themselves to him, but then eventually he figured out that it was him tuning into that realm. And so thanks to or at least partially thanks to the Rye House experts on these matters, he's been able to keep a tab on, or at least control it to way better than even just 3-4 years ago. Anyway, but he still needs the cigarettes because they help him keep stuff at bay.
I think as you leave your apartment, like as you're gathering all your things up and you're stepping outside, how many voices of a distinct personality does Thomas hear, or do they all blend together in a way that Thomas can't tell?
So far it's been a pretty quiet day. Mr. Diaz has been hanging out since yesterday again. Like, he was someone who lived in this house, in the apartment underneath his, and he usually is just there to visit his wife, but he constantly talks about baseball, which she's not interested in. And then eventually he comes up, but I'm also not interested in it really. So, but I mean, he's nice enough. Like, if I could choose just to have someone constantly out apparition wise, then it would be Mr. Diaz. And I think I saw out of the corner of my eye just some random shadows, but nothing that would have me worried. So far it's been pretty quiet. Just Mr. Diaz talking about some baseball games from the past decades.
You hear the talk of batting averages of bases, and Katie knows not enough about baseball to talk about it. But you also you don't hear anything, Thomas, but the moment you step outside, the voices pick up, these aren't the normal voices that you hear in your apartment. These aren't the ones you were used to. You're sort of picking up these voices that are carrying all around, almost as if they're blowing on this October wind around you. You can't make out any full sentences, but you're hearing panic in these like little bits of phrases that you're picking up.
Do I see anything?
You don't see anything. This is just, you're just strictly hearing this in the back of your mind. This isn't something that it's not causing you a panic yet. It's not hurting you, but it's also, it's enough that it's unusual.
Well, just to be on the safe side, I'm just gonna write a cigarette, which I'm not really going to light, but I stole one from my mom, so to get into character. So yeah, it's just kind of, light one and then just get going, and yeah, sort of keeping his ears open.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I say this right. Just Hanul.
Yeah, Hanul. It's gonna be
okay.
Yeah, that's the closest.
I will get it. I will at least do my very best.
All good.
What are you up to as your phone dings with this group text from Charlotte?
Sure. Just so I get my brain space right, this hospital's in New York.
It's a upstate this place called Brookings, New York.
Okay.
It is very wooded area, a smaller town, probably 10 to 15,000 people, not a ton of people, but is very much I wouldn't call it a retirement community, but it is that kind of place where people, they sort of gravitate here, as they have nothing else to, it's a very,
one of those soft spaces. Yes. Got it. Okay. I would be up. Normally I'm in Northern Virginia, but like it's actually only a couple hours away to be in this space. So I'm visiting some of my friends in New York. I get this text and I'm like, okay. Guess we're not chilling and hanging out and taking aesthetic photos today. That's fine. I didn't need more black and white photos. I'll see you guys later. And I'll just beeline over and probably group text a silly ghost emoji that tells you nothing, but I will show up.
Okay. You head that way. I think your friends sort of, do your friends know about your darkness, your spooky side?
I don't think I've told them directly, but they know something's up.
Yeah, I think you get a few curious looks, but they also are the type of friends that they're not going to question you or sort of hold you back from what you have to do. So they let you go with a this, we'll see you later, that let us know what's going on, that type of thing.
Yeah. Hanul always wants to pretend they're super cool, and then everything just comes out like super awkward. So it's just like they're like, okay, here I go.
You head that way. And Sunny, where are you at today as you get this text?
What time is it?
It's about noon.
Okay. I think we see Sunny walk in her front door, and I think she turns immediately into the kitchen. She's still kind of in this white coat that she pulls off and leaves on the floor. And she pulls out, she's carrying a cooler on her side that she sets on the counter. And I think she turns her like Spotify, her phone, her music on, and she's humming along. And I think she's cooking up eggs with onions and whatever's in that cooler. And she's making herself breakfast. She looks, I mean, she's gaunt and sort of just kind of faded looking already, but she looks extremely tired. She's been working all night.
Dingo, I want you to tell me what's in that cooler.
So I think of all the things Sunny can eat, she prefers brains. So I think it's just a little sampling of that.
We lost 2 of them.
But I think she folds it into an omelet. It
Great.
looks great when it's done.
Yeah. So fun fact for Sunny is that this fire that happened a couple of days ago at the Solomon House, that's sort of been taken over all of your attention at the morgue. You have been working on like these these bodies have the morgue in Brookings isn't exactly the biggest place because it's not like deaths happen all of the time. But this has sort of been taking up all of your attention. That's why, you know, you were at work all night, even very busy with that. So Dingo is one of the the organ that you're currently chowing down on. Does that belong to one of the victims from that from the fire?
She wouldn't outright admit it, but yes, it is.
That being said, would you like to roll your custom move as you enjoy your breakfast?
I would love to roll my custom move as I enjoy my breakfast.
If you want to read it out before you roll it.
Absolutely. Let me pull up, where did I put my character sheet? There it is. So my custom move is called Consume. When you consume an organic piece of material from a dead human being, roll plus weird. On a 10 plus, choose 2. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. On a miss, describe how you lose yourself and want more. You may have to act under pressure to contain yourself, but not for long. So crossing my fingers, everyone pray for me.
You have 2 advantages. Okay, good.
Okay, so on a 11, 10 plus, you get to choose 2 of the options below.
Okay.
Which are, you manage to keep control of your own personality. You gain the vision from the moment before the person died. You gain a +1 ongoing to any role involving this person. No similarities intended for the CW show iZombie.
None whatsoever. I'm gonna go with, you manage to keep control of your own personality and you gain the vision from the moment before the person died.
As you take a moment to dig into your omelet, this isn't the first time you've done this, Sunny. Sometimes it goes worse than other times. Sometimes you get an overwhelming hunger. Sometimes you take on traits of the person that you have just consumed. Then sometimes you're able to sort of let your mind wander, and it seems to happen a lot when you eat when the specific thing that you eat is their brain. And because of the nature of the death, it's so early in what's going on, you only know the bare the most minimum details about this person. And you know that this was an older gentleman who had died in the fire. And what you see is this grainy vision of this man running, of him holding up what looks like a stick, a broom, a mop or something, almost as he's defending himself. And there's this pause of what feels like just pure fear through him. And you feel it too. This is something you're very familiar with, Sunny. You feel all the emotions in the moment. And it almost paralyzes you as well in fear. And you see this creature, this towering figure with the body of a man, head of a bull, stomping toward him. And you hear a break as the man seems to try to hit the creature with whatever stick he's holding, and it only breaks over his shoulder. and you hear a scream, and that's when you come back to your current reality.
Yeah, she sort of takes a deep breath in and sort of stares at her omelet, and she says, "Oh, buddy, that broom was never going to work."
As you say that out loud, your phone beeps, and you have a message from Charlotte.
She reads it and looks longingly over. I imagine this is sort of just like a very tiny kind of flat in maybe like a really old building. Probably not a very tall one. But she looks over at her bed kind of longingly and goes, "Okay," and texts back, "No sleep for the wicked. I'll be there soon."
So Charlotte and Ben, you were probably honestly in the same park, maybe on different sides of it. You both come up to Brookings General at the same time. Pretty decent length away from each other, but you know you would know each other seeing from a distance. Did either of you drive, or did you just sort of walk over? This town, everything's sort of a walk within distance. It's not the only place you've had to really drive to is the House of Solomon, since it is so far out in the woods, given that it is a private school. But walking around, it's not. It's very easy to get where you need to go.
Yeah, Charlie doesn't know how to drive, so that won't work.
Yeah, Ben didn't drive either, at least not to this point.
You're both walking up this. The driveway to the hospital is a curved, very ornate, unneeded, fancy thing for a hospital, but you're both heading up it to this sort of general admission area, the visitors area.
Okay.
Are we approaching from like separate areas of the curve? Like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
As a purely like jest maneuver, Ben would make sure that he's maybe one step ahead. So he would get there like as if it was a race. He'd just pretend to walk a little bit faster, like a speed walk in a mall. Just with a smile, as just accelerates the shuffle.
Always punctual, Ben.
How are you?
As well as can be expected, I suppose.
Well, it's a nice day, all things considered.
You have a wide interpretation of the word nice.
I do.
Does everybody else know what's going on, or do I have to inform them?
I think that's up to you, Charlotte, how much you've let them in on. So because of the nature of this, you all have worked together before at least once. Mm-hmm. They know at least on the surface what the Rye House Institute does.
Okay.
They know that you are a consultant, that you gather them together to do things. Ben probably, I would think, would know a little bit deeper given his history and the fact that, the Rye House, it has their hands in with some religious things. I feel like Ben would know a little bit more, but on a whole, I think that's up for how much you've told them, Charlotte.
Okay, so it could stand to reason that I was kind of personally responsible for keeping an eye out, kind of the way that I have done in my past. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any more info from the Rye House about why, or were they just like, this is the person, keep an eye on them, don't let them out of your sight?
They told you to keep an eye on Lucy, mm-hmm. because the House of Solomon has had a very unusual amount of deaths in the past.
Okay.
And because of this fire, happened out of nowhere, and that it smoldered for 5 days. And with the word that Lucy was whispering, this one word, Paimon, a very prominent demon, it sort of all fit together that this was something that the Rye House Institute wanted to get their hands in before anyone else did.
Okay, perfect. And she was like the sole survivor, right?
Yes, she was the only one who survived it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say, I was looking after the survivor of the Solomon House fire, or the House of Solomon fire, and I found out this morning that she has gone missing. So,
Oh, um, oh, it was a nice day, I guess.
yeah. Signs are pointing towards it's something that's going to be the group's purview, so I'm getting everybody together, but just wanted you to have my back.
Always, always.
Perfect. Well, okay. Are you ready?
Always, always.
I like you, Ben. Let's go. So here's my second question. I'm gonna have a lot of questions to figure out.
Ask away.
Because I don't have we don't have official poll or any of those particularly fancy tags. Is it gonna be? Do I need to be kind of surreptitious and sneaky about like, oh, I need to see this person, but they're probably not gonna let me because I can't flash a badge or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how's that work?
Isn't the first time you've done this before for the Riot House Institute? You would know enough. Lillian, I mean, what she said, but they're watching everything. They have hands in everything. You have enough knowledge to know that if you mention the Riot House Institute, you'll be able to at least get in more than a regular person would.
Perfect.
It's not gonna get you,
Unfettered access.
Confidential. Yeah, it's not going to get you all the access. It's not going to get you confidential folders and files. That might be, the job for someone who works in the morgue or someone who's sneaky or something. But it will at least get you through the door more than any like someone off the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna go up to the front desk. Good.
Yeah, reception area. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As you do that, as you two are walking in, Thomas, you are arriving. Did you walk or did you drive?
In between, I took an Uber.
Nice. Yeah, your Uber's pulling up on the curve.
Yeah, getting out
at the very front,
popping the collar of my coat, lighting the next cigarette. It's just I probably get to take a few drags, and like looking up the facade of the hospital, and then being a good boy and turning off that cigarette, at least for the moment. And then sort of looking around, and would I maybe have seen Ben and Charlie go inside?
You probably saw maybe the tail end of them walking in as your Uber was pulling in. Yeah.
Then I hurry up a little bit to get inside and just fall into a jog, and then tap Charlie on the shoulder and say, "What's going on?"
That girl Lucy has apparently vanished, and Lillian is not happy. So we're gonna take a poke around. You look nice today.
Well, thank you. Right back at you. Hey, Ben.
Hi, Thomas. You smell like smoke.
Well, that's to be expected.
It's not good for you. I'm sure there's a poster around here somewhere that will tell you why. But I
know it's not good for me, but if you have to pick between having nasty little voices, bugging you all day long and getting a little bit of peace and maybe ruining your lungs in the process, then yeah.
Nasty little voice, Ben.
Ben would lean forward to Thomas. Tom, choose life. And
I flick Ben on the shoulder.
Hey. But when he says that, he stares into Thomas's eyes to see the reflection there.
Actually, what's happening is, so if you would have done that a week ago when it was really, really loud, he would have avoided this kind of interaction in any way possible. But today he's in a good mood, and so he's actually putting his hands on Ben's shoulders and saying, "Ben, my friend, that's exactly what I'm doing."
Do you let Ben look into your eyes, Thomas? Because you know what he's doing.
Yeah, I know what he's doing. So there is this moment where I'm just coming in and bringing all the good mood with me that I had from the day so far, but then there's this, oh wait, and then I drop the connection, as is my habit with Ben.
Ben, I want you to make a weird roll for me. Just a straight weird roll.
My speciality.
Yeah.
Only have a -1 on this one. Okay.
You do have an advantage.
Yeah.
No. I only have one left. You know, I listen, if I get higher than a 9, I'll know that perhaps a curse is broken. We'll see. Well, that's not bad. An 8.
Sometimes you see nothing in Thomas's eyes. Sometimes you are 100% sure you see something. This is one of those moments that you think you see something, Ben, enough that it puts a chill up your spine, but you're unsure. You don't know if you actually saw that reflection there. And Thomas, when you realize, what Ben is doing, it even puts a chill up your spine. I think that hospitals are already a very complicated and hard place for someone like Thomas to be. Given what happens in hospitals, they are sort of this, death happens in hospitals just as much as life does, but it even puts a chill up your spine as well.
Yeah. So stepping into a hospital is like, it's almost like a constant white noise, but nothing too intrusive on a good day, because I can, keep it at bay. But I sort of, as I drop my gaze, and I don't know, how does Ben react to what he is seeing, or what he thinks he's seeing?
And what you Ben is sort of a split second of a figure. You can't make out what the figure is. It's humanoid, but that's sort of what it, almost just like a quick shadow.
Well, Ben usually has a smile on his face, and the smile would continue, but it would be a little bit more, not haunted, but not as bright. And he would just lean maybe a little bit more into Thomas and say, "You can't smoke in here, so shoulder or hand."
It's off.
I know,
See?
but
Stop.
if something happens, just my shoulder or my hand, just grab one of them.
Will do. Right? Will do. And he doesn't, I'm not commenting on it, but I think I just need to process that. Yeah. Thinking back also of the weird things I picked up when I stepped out of my apartment.
Sunny, it doesn't take you long to get there as well. If you live in one of the older buildings, you probably live very close to downtown. And I mean, it's nothing to walk this path to the hospital for you. And I think you're walking in, seeing this closeness between Thomas and Ben.
Yeah. She walks in, she's put her coat, her white coat back on, and it's not a good sight. And she sort of click as she is rushing in. She goes, "Sorry, and she pauses and looks between Ben and Thomas, and then looks pointedly at Charlotte. "Sorry, I'm late. How can I help?"
Well, all right. We're going to take a look around the hospital. In the hospital room, seems that Lucy has...
Turn around and say, "Hey sis, how you doing?"
"Thomas? Tired. I've been working all night. So, okay, Lucy's gone. That's not good, but I can get us in the door just as soon as Hanul's here."
As you're saying this, a receptionist comes up, sort of sees the four of you gathered there, and she looks at you, Charlotte. You look probably the most. You and Sunny probably look the most official, and she looks between you. I'm sorry. Can I help either of you?
"Hi, I'm from Sacred Heart Funeral Services. I'm here to pick up more people in need of transportation."
Yes. And she goes over to a filing cabinet and pulls out a couple of files. There were a couple of from the assisted living. Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking actually for quite a few, hence why I've got so much help here.
Oh, I think her eyes immediately go to Thomas, who looks way too nice to be helping with bodies, you know?
I'm interning right now. I'm not sure yet if it's really my kind of work of line.
We're very grateful for our volunteers.
Well, if you need any help, just let us know. She hands you over a couple of files, and they're just sort of the recent they're like room numbers of recent admissions who have passed away in the night. It's about 5 files. None of them are the name Lucy, and Charlotte, you would know Lucy Ballard was her full name.
Gotcha.
But she crosses her arms and looks at the 4 of you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Just some visitor tags. Otherwise, I know my way around. I've got this, and anybody else I'll need to pick up, I'll bring you the tags. And
of course, just 4. She's already grabbing them and writing, stamping them to make sure they say visitor.
Yep, that should be. One more. I've got one more crew member who's a little bit late.
Oh, when they come in, do you need me to send them to you? I can take care of that.
Yes, that would be great.
She looks at she starts to hand you out the tag. She looks at the file. This one says here it starts on the 2nd floor. I can just send them. Would they know to ask for you?
I'll let them know, and I'll let them know where I am when they get here.
Yeah, then this is great. Yeah, this will actually help us out a lot. We didn't know we had anyone coming over today, but this is perfect. And she's sort of clearly a little flustered, but is handing you over the visitor tags. No problem.
Thank you so much. We'll be out of your hair. We shouldn't be any trouble. Thank you. And she quickly walks past the desk and sort of waves everyone else on.
I follow.
Yeah, y'all are able. Where are you heading to? Are you heading upstairs? I think you would know, Charlotte. You would know what room Lucy was in. She was on the 3rd floor. Okay. Sort of the more general wing where people were kept. There wasn't any sort of specific people on this wing, but it was more of a closed off wing. The private rooms were here.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just head in that direction. And I'm like, good work, Sonny.
Thank you.
Katie, as we go, could Ben roll a read a bad situation just for the ability, not that he thinks this is a bad situation, but constantly looking for any type of help should it become a bad situation?
Sure. As a keeper, I am very, let's just offer you, I'm very loosey-goosey. I do not mind finagling the questions you get to ask and that kind of stuff. Do not mind that at all. So yeah, go ahead. Roll sharp to read a bad situation.
Strong 9.
On a 9. You haven't broke it yet, but you're getting close.
Listen, if 9's for the rest of the campaign, I'm super happy. It's the best I've ever done.
So you can hold 1 to ask one of the following questions. What's my best way in, best way out? Are there dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's the most vulnerable to me? What's the best way to protect the victim? If you act on any of the answers, you'll get a +1 ongoing. And if you'd like, Greg, I'll allow you to hold that until you think that it's a better situation to use this.
Right. Until I say differently, until I do differently, can I manipulate that a bit? And instead of what's the best way to protect the victims, it's what's the best way to protect his friends, his comrades. So if something were to happen, he'd want to interpose himself between danger and everybody else. So
yeah. If you don't want to ask that now, if you'll just let me know when you think it's appropriate, and I will answer it, of course.
Cool, thank you.
Do y'all head up the stairs or do you take the elevator?
Elevator.
Yeah, Sunny grabs a nearby gurney and heads into the elevator.
Okay, as y'all go into the elevator, the hospital is relatively calm today. There's not that many people. Um, there's no one stopping you in the elevator. There's no one joining you or getting off. And the door closes. And Haniel, I would assume you were driving or an Uber or some sort of way to get to the hospital. You pull up to the front door.
Yeah, I parked my car and drove up from Virginia to see my friends, so I have my own car here. It makes me a little uncomfortable being in this space. It looks a little weird, giving me some heebie-jeebies beyond what I normally feel. But yeah, I stroll up to the front office.
I think Sunny would have sent you a text saying, ask for me at the desk, and then head up to the 3rd floor.
Cool. And I go up to if it's the same lady, I'm like, been told to tell you that I know Sunny.
She's a little confused at first, mostly because Sunny didn't give her name, but she puts it together after a moment, and she's yes, and she begins to give you a visitor's tag, and as she's writing it, and you're sort of standing there, you see out of the corner of your eye, Haniel, this tall, lanky figure seems to be coming relatively close to you.
I assume the front office person doesn't.
She doesn't seem to be reacting.
Okay, so I'm just gonna casually stretch and relax onto the counter, my elbow, and I'm just looking at it.
It doesn't seem to have any defining features on its face. Probably about 7 feet tall. Very humanoid looking. It's androgynous. There's no gender features to it. Looks shadowed if there's any sort of thing to it, but it doesn't notice you either. Like, it, as much as she doesn't notice it, she doesn't notice either, or it doesn't notice either of you. It walks past you toward the elevator. She, and the woman behind the desk looks up at you, holds out the tag. Here you go. Hope you have a great day.
I plan on having a day. That's exactly what I plan on doing. I'm gonna go to the elevator because that's what Sunny told me to do.
She smiles. I don't think she's picking up on the uncomfortableness. She's probably seen a lot of weird things in the hospital. Yeah, the figure, the shadowed figure, passes straight into past the metal door of the metal confines of the elevator.
Oh my gosh.
And you can see the light atop of it beeping to, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and it stopped.
It's massive. I'm just gonna take the stairs. It's only the 3rd floor, right?
Yeah, it's only the 3rd floor.
It's fine.
As you're rushing up, are you rushing? I mean, you're casually going up the stairs.
It's one of those, like, I'll skip every other step.
Gotcha.
Not pushing the cardio, but I'll up the pace.
The 4 of you in the elevator, it dings onto the 3rd floor, and the doors open, and a couple of nurses are at the nurses station, but there's that low hum of chatter of hospital machines. Nothing seems out of sorts.
Okay. I just lead the pack like we belong.
You head toward the room you know was Lucy's. It was at the very end of the hallway, down toward a window with a very obvious fake plant. And as you're about halfway, Haniel, you come up and you can see them in the distance. It's no problem noticing them, especially because it's Sunny in a white coat pushing a gurney, and Charlotte leading the pack ahead of them, and you notice them immediately.
Yes. Do I see the figure anywhere to be found?
You don't see the figure anymore.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a relief for now. Well, yes, I'm just gonna skitter over and be like, hi, hello. I arrived exactly when I intended to, given the very vague nature of that text.
If I need punctuality, I'll ask for it. No worries.
Great. Did no one else see anything, feel anything?
I very briefly glance at Ben, but don't say anything.
Mm.
What do you mean? Picked something up?
Could be nothing, could be something, could be a very tall 7-foot something, but
Something like nondescript, shadow, just category 1 specter thingy.
yeah, I mean, it didn't really have a face-ish, but it definitely didn't look at me. It walked right past me and into the elevator, but it's not here.
I mean, a lot of stuff gathers in hospitals, so it could be just
Hopefully visiting
a
someone else.
residue. Well, let's keep an eye open.
Sticky.
I did, and so I look around and say, speaking of which, I mean, I did pick up some weird vibes today as I left my apartment. So I don't know, maybe it's just the weather.
I walk over to the entrance of the room, but I don't go in. I kind of stand beside it and put up I have a briefcase that I carry everywhere with me that's like, if you took a briefcase and it was in an MMO and it was like upgraded 3 times, it's like this ridiculous thing. I just kind of hold it in front of me and I just kind of like stand almost in a receiving fashion in front of the door. Like, all right, start being creepy, everybody.
Time to be weird.
That's our mantra.
As you said that, Thomas would have already started reaching into the inside pockets of his coat, getting his, his ritualistic stuff ready.
I think a couple of nurses have like looked at all of you curiously, but they've sort of noticed the white coat and the gurney. It's honestly sunny, and maybe the briefcase that's like saving y'all right now.
That's good. Just say, to be clear, Charlie doesn't call anybody weird. That's just Seth. She's very supportive. Yeah. Let me know if it's good to go.
Yeah, do you all walk in this room? So this room is it has definitely been like since whatever happened, it's definitely been cleaned and sorted out. The bed is pristinely made. The blinds are open. The sun is shining through. There's no machinery in here anymore. Besides like the generic stuff that sits in here, nothing is set up to work right now since there's no patient. But Thomas and Hanul, the tension in this room is very heavy. Something happened here. I mean, Charlotte could tell you that regardless because she knows someone went missing, but there is a tension here that is so strong both of you could almost suffocate on it.
Yeah, I automatically look at Hanul. Are you feeling that?
Yep. Yeah. It's not a runaway situation.
Yeah. I start going around. So I take out a vial of a liquid and start drawing marks, glyphs on each of the walls. You can't see it, or maybe it looks as if I'm just drawing stuff with water. Just stuff that helps me to tune in, but in a more focused way. So to prevent things from just rushing into me, and then I just pick up a chair and I let anybody else do. Charlotte probably just wants to closely look at everything, and I know I'm not so good with that, picking up that kind of evidence. I'm just sitting down in a chair and just taking a few deep breaths, and then slowly tuning in, and I would actually like to call in this +1 forward.
Yes.
But I think I need a moment to decide on the question, so just keep the
course,
movie
yeah.
running in the background, and Thomas just sitting there and really focusing. And
Would anyone else, while Thomas is sort of, I think this is a very familiar thing that Thomas does for all of you. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
out of
yeah,
the
yeah.
ordinary. Would anyone else like to investigate a mystery, or if someone would, there's a help out move, any kind of, or use any of yours playbook specific moves as you're sort of in this space that Charlotte told you, something's happened here.
I think Sunny would be kind of following Charlotte around like a puppy dog, kind of looking over her shoulder and sort of investigating the same things she is. And I think at some point Sunny would kind of comb through the bed and look for any like hairs or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they cleaned this bed. They stripped the sheets. They did follow the protocol. So you're not finding any, you're not finding any afternoon,
snacks?
any afternoon snacks.
Yeah, I think Sunny huffs and goes, well, nothing for me to work with. Anybody find anything else? And if someone else rolls to investigate a mystery, I'll help out.
So in the background, you would actually hear Thomas's lighter going on again. I think he doesn't even really notice that he's lighting a next cigarette. He's just sitting there, and you see his eyes gloss over, not like going wide or anything like that, but just focusing inwards.
I think Hanul is always fascinated by how Thomas brings about the powers because it's so different than theirs, and we've gotten familiar enough that Hanul likes to test and just kind of, it's a love-hate situation how easily Thomas looks Instagram ready and how cool Thomas looks. So Hanul is like standing right in front of you as you're sitting in this chair, just like trying to breathe in and out at the same time as you, but staring face to face, whether or not you're paying attention to them, and would like to help you and try to resonate with you, but in the most comical way to try and make you break face.
I think Thomas notices at the back of his mind, takes a mental note. You said that Hanul probably wouldn't have outright told anybody what he is going through, what he can see, right? So I would probably just have a very vague idea. But I think the evidence from my point of view is gathering enough, or has been gathering to the point where I'm probably going to address it at some point. But right now I'm just focusing. And so the question that I would like to use from what I wrote last time for Connect the Dots is, when and where will the next critical event occur?
That question. 15 minutes, 10 minutes here. This tension is building up for a reason. And it has been, it's beginning to set off, and you can feel it, Thomas, because of the energy now in this room, because of all of you. It knows that you're here, and it's not happy, whatever this might be.
All right, I would stand up abruptly. Like normally I don't do that because I need a moment to just come back and say, okay, something's on the move. I just want to figure out where to go next, but there's no need to go next. Something is approaching.
Oh, it likes us. Great.
How much time do we have?
15, 20 minutes.
Oh, we're good then.
That's plenty of time.
Would you like to investigate a mystery, Charlie?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Does this now constitute a dangerous situation for my I've seen this before move? It's okay if not. It's kind of a stretch. It's just the
I'll let you. Yeah, I will say it was, and I will say that Sunny can't help though because this is a custom move.
Okay. Okay.
So this is your custom move. If you want to read it out.
Yeah, I've seen this before. Is the name of it. Working for the Rye House Institute has taught you a lot about dealing with precious artifacts or dangerous situations. When you come across either, you may roll plus sharp to rack your brain for a similar moment from your past experiences. On a 10 plus, you have dealt with this before. Choose one. Either gain +1 ongoing to use or study the artifact, gain +1 forward to give yourself the upper hand in the situation. On a 7 to 9, you're familiar with the situation, but the last time you encountered it, things went sour. Expect to deal with the agency soon. On a miss, you for once you're wrong. This isn't like anything you're familiar with. Okay.
Give me that
I'm gonna roll plus sharp.
roll.
With advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Roll it twice then.
Okay. And then, yeah. Okay, I will take that 9.
Okay, so you're familiar with the situation, but the last time you encountered it, things went sour. Expect to deal with the agency soon.
Which makes sense.
You feel this. The tension that that Thomas and Hanul are describing. It's not exactly that you feel it, Charlotte, but you're familiar with it because you've worked with these two before. Mm-hmm. And this isn't out of the ordinary for you. And given what you have heard about Charlotte going missing and there being almost no evidence, I think you know that whatever is about to happen sort of has to happen for you to gather any information. It's either that you're going to have to get away and let this chance slide by, or deal with it and take whatever consequences you get to sort of gather to learn about whatever is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I would look at Charlie. What do you think?
I think we should stick it out and see who comes to say hi.
All right. And then I immediately start going around doing something similar, painting glyphs at the wall, but this time a little bit more visible. It's almost like a hold action thingy. I'm preparing for a ban spell, should it become necessary. So
Ben,
to try... sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just should it be necessary to try and kick out whatever entity is on the way.
Okay. Ben, what are you doing as you're sort of watching Thomas? You're familiar with these sigils that Thomas is drawing.
Ben's familiar with what everybody is doing in the way that a writer is familiar with what everybody's doing, not a practitioner. So when the investigation would have begun, he would have waited outside with the briefcase, just to kind of watch what was going on. And as soon as Hanul got in front of Thomas, as Thomas was smoking, he would have whispered into the room, "Secondhand smoke kills too," and then he's going to walk to the nurse's station.
As you go to the nurse's station, are you specifically to speak to someone, Ben?
Yeah, he's going to go up, and this is a way he wants to see how many people are currently on duty, because if something bad does happen, he intends to protect as many people as he can, including people that are, patients, and then the support staff as well. But as he walks up, he would say something to the effect of, "Do you know who was working last night? My very attractive smoke-smelling friend is trying to get a rundown of exactly who was in here and who was talking back in that room. Insurance purposes."
You definitely can see like the dry erase board behind the desk that shows who's on duty now. Total, there's only about 8 nurses in total, at least on this floor, and there are little stars beside 4 of their names right now. And one of the nurses looks up at you, a older woman, and she turns and looks and says, I think, and she reaches out and sort of wipes off a star. Yeah, these three were, and the names Hunter and Sarah, but she says they haven't. They got off this morning around 4. They haven't come back in.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to have any, like, an email or something? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff. We can probably just send it to them to get them to fill it out and send it back in, or even a phone number, or when they'll be working next, or just if there's questions to ask. The least intrusive way that we can get them accomplished would probably be before the best.
Is this for the situation that happened last night?
Yes, of course. Insurance is already breathing down our necks, and make sure the liability isn't there and who is to blame and all this nonsense. But I'm here to make sure that the hospital and you lovely staff are taken care of, as my highly attractive smoke-smelling friend does all the bit work inside.
For information, I'm not smelling of normal cigarette smoke because there's no tobacco in my cigarettes.
There's no delineation for Ben.
Yeah, Ben's scared. I want you to roll charm, friend.
Okay. I'm so bad at this. All right, let's just do it. Woo! This is Greg just rolled charm.
She looks at you. She looks torn, like she wants to help you.
You know what, Katie? Let's help everybody out here, and I'm gonna take a point of luck and get a 12 on that bad boy.
Okay, you can do that. She looks torn, and she says, "Okay, if you say we need it, look, they were here all night, and I'm gonna help them out. If you say this will make it easy on them, then I'll take care of it." And she looks aside for a minute, grabs a Post-it note, writes down the name Hunter and Sarah, and just writes down quick phone numbers for you. And she says, probably give them a couple of hours. I'm pretty sure they're sleeping, but they have shift tonight. They'll be in the 9 o'clock shift. So
Great. And just so we don't bother them, do you happen to have their current mailing address?
Oh, not. If you'll give me a minute, I can probably pull it up. And she sits down in front of the computer.
Sure, take your time. We have about 10 or 15 minutes, so don't worry about it.
As she does this, you're seeing above you the lights flicker, Ben. She doesn't seem to notice it.
Okay. He's going to reach under the jacket that's way too warm to be wearing in the autumn and just make sure what's in there is still within easy release as it kind of snakes up his back a bit. And he looks back down the hall. Yeah. No, he's just going to look back down the hall and kind of, if he sees Charlotte, just kind of nod and to the lights.
I think when he turns around, she's already making eye contact with him, like, yeah.
Haniel, you see that figure again in the corner of the room. It's not moving. It's sort of standing there, swaying a little bit side to side. It looks taller, about a foot taller. Almost as if it's melding into the wall, if it's part of the wall. It's just one big humanoid shadow.
Okay, I know you usually have a lot of sounds you're dealing with, Thomas, but like maybe just focus on that one corner over there because it's back and bigger.
Do I see it?
You don't see this.
No.
Oh, sorry, but you're alone with this right now. But I mean, it's not a good feeling.
Can I tell if the squishy presence that we have felt since we walked in here is anywhere tied to this cute critter?
Yeah, I don't even think you need to roll with this with the sight. The whole room, Hanuel, has that feeling except that corner.
Oh, I'm gonna go give the critter a hug.
As you step toward it,
like, I know what.
You watch as its long, I hate comparing it to Slender Man, but if you want to have an image in your head, it's that I hate to do it because it's such a I feel like I'm ripping it off, but that long sort of, long arm, spindly hand, just pure shadow reaches out and doesn't let you touch it, Hanul, but it points toward the bed, sort of where Sunny was investigating.
I'm okay, so I'm like walking towards the corner and then I like do a little pirouette following the hand, and I'm like, it's pointing to the bed. I don't know if I should take a nap.
Yep, that's exactly what it wants you to do.
Like
This is
over
my
here?
game.
Over here?
Yeah, kind of like where you were looking. Like maybe I'll just slip under the covers. Maybe I can hide from whatever is coming.
So it's something
I
else
don't know
then.
if that's appropriate.
It was cleaned. It's technically not the same bed.
But then it's not sterile anymore and they have to clean it again.
I'm
You
gonna
really
walk
think?
up.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna walk up as they're discussing, and I'm just going to flip the covers open just to look at the bare bed.
Nothing underneath the covers.
That's all she's got.
I'm totally doing a
Anything
front flip and
underneath
sitting
the
on the
bed?
bed.
Do you look underneath the bed, Sunny?
Yeah.
Oh God.
You bend down to look underneath the bed. It's dark, even like with the light in here, but you definitely see something there.
Charlie, can I have a flashlight, please?
Immediately, a flashlight out of like a coat pocket, pen light.
Yeah, she pauses and shakes a little bit and then turns the light on.
Then back at the nurse's station. Back at the nurse's station, this nurse hands you the address to these two people.
Oh, thanks. So what is the policy on smoking?
And you
no.
watch as she makes eye contact with you, and her eyes look completely glazed over. There's no pupil there. There's nothing there. And the lights flicker again.
Oh. Okay.
She's holding out this piece of paper. She hasn't given it to you yet.
He would take it.
She doesn't let go of it.
He would take it.
It's a fight. Like you have to put force into it, and it's almost like every joint in her body is just rigid.
Is it just a piece of paper?
Just a piece of paper.
And
yeah.
I can see everything that's written on it?
Mm-hmm. It's an address, yeah.
He takes his phone and takes a picture of the paper. You can have it there. It's all yours. All calm now. Everything's fine. As he's kind
the
of...
lights go out. That sort of, in a hospital when the emergency light kicks on, that sort of dimmer light, that's what kicks on. But it is definitely not as bright as it was before.
Well, in that interim, when the lights go out to that half second later when the emergencies kick on, as soon as the emergencies kick back on, Ben is holding what looks to be a long pipe with a broad spiked head on the top of it. Just in that half beat, he's already armed as he starts backing back towards the room with his friends in it.
As you back toward the room, you look around. You don't see anything that I think Ben would consider a threat. You do see like other nurses at the nurses' station. One that was heading into a room. They're all frozen in place, just like that nurse was. Their eyes glazed over. Their joints and movements completely solid, as if they're frozen in whatever actions they were doing. And you're heading back toward the room.
I was about to put a lighter on the fire, on the sprinklers above this, but now that's not going to help.
Sunny, you shine the light beneath the bed. You could even like sort of push the bed. I mean, it's technically a gurney. You can push the bed out a little bit. And as you shine the light, it's good because the lights in the hospital flip off, and the emergency lights flip on. And in this room, it's only this one sort of dim light above the bed, sort of like I would call a reading light. But it's not that harsh LED. It's a very dim light above the bed. But with Charlotte's pen light, you see Hanul and Thomas, are you also going over to look?
Yes. With my camera in.
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
You would see, and specifically for you, Thomas, these are glyphs very similar to what you are putting on the wall, but almost the complete opposite. Whereas your glyphs are ones of protection, these are glyphs of they're meant to bring evil. They're glyphs
So
meant
conjuring.
to harm. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. yeah. They're glyphs meant to conjure something here.
Not good. So we're gonna get a literal monster under the bed.
I'm guessing those aren't yours.
No.
Hmm.
Unless I suddenly started sleepwalking, and no, they're not mine. Charlie.
I think I literally just smile and I open up the briefcase and I flip it to the other side and I pull out this beast of a machine gun and unfold it.
So
I close it
you,
up.
So cool.
just to make sure that I get that right, so you want us to...
What if it doesn't have a bed to get summoned? Like, what if we flip the bed, right? That's how this works. If you
I want it.
I mean,
Well-
I think there would be still time to prevent it from coming through, but...
Ben, you've definitely made your way back to the room by now. You've seen them gathered around this area.
Ben would walk in, and as he kind
Crawled
of
out.
as he clears the bed frame, he would walk back and say, "I think we have a," and then he would see that Charlotte has the gun out. Oh, you already know. As
you say that, the door to the room closes much faster than this, hydraulic. That's a word.
Mhm.
Hydraulic hospital door tends, usually they catch themselves. This door slams shut.
Mhm.
The shadow figure, Hanuel, in the corner is gone.
Oh, my friend.
All of you watch as these glyphs begin to smoke.
All right, it's too late, and I'm getting ready to cast something, just stepping back a little bit.
I'll just sprinkle some of your lemon water on it. It'll be fine.
What was your bad situation question exactly, Ben? What best way to protect your friends?
how can I protect my friends? And as he's doing this, the length of this club with the spike begins to split and retract on itself as it becomes a chain, and he begins to swing this large bald spiked ball on a chain as he dips it between, almost like he's jumping rope with it. Then he steps over it, steps on the chain, flips it around as he begins to create this weave, almost like a pentagram in front of him.
You have seen these glyphs before in your studies. I don't think you knew they were real or they were possible to be real. So it's a little surprising, but you know that whatever is summoned from these glyphs is a real thing. It is something you can fight. It's something all of you are able to fight. Even though it seems to coalesce and be made from shadows, it is a thing made of matter and material that can be killed, and that is how you can protect your friends.
So he would convey that in the following: it might look like shadow, but you can slap it, you can shoot it, you can strike it.
Good.
Also know that if it makes contact with you, whether by touch or eye, it can, sort of what's happening to the nurses, it can paralyze you. That's sort of how it's able to get its claws into you.
Don't touch it. Don't look it in the eyes. And Ben will switch glasses real quick.
Well, I guess biting's out of the question.
I knew it.
We love a prop. You all watch, and I would assume, correct me please if I'm wrong, but I assume you're all backing away from the sort of circle you see. You see as these glyphs are beginning to form shadows from each point of them, and they're forming into very similar, Hanuel, to the creature that you had seen, but this one, you can tell there's something malevolent. I
That
can't
one.
talk today. Nefarious. I can say that one today. Nefarious about it. It is, while it's the same height, it almost looks as if in the middle of it, and all of you see this, in the middle of its chest, this sort of red glowing shadow that swirls, almost it looks like an evil face. Powered by the apocalypse, anyone can go first. Just tell me what you're going to do.
Are we all in the room and the door's closed behind us?
Yes.
Okay. But there's a window next to the door?
Well, on the opposite side of the room.
Okay. Okay.
There was a door as you sort of in the hallway. There was a window in the room, this like room length window with the blinds open, the curtains open.
Okay, so are we trapped in here by the door?
You don't want to check the door. It closed behind Ben.
Okay. I will. That's gonna be my first move, is securing an escape in case it goes south. So I'm actually gonna go move backwards and just try the door first.
Yeah, you can definitely. It's sort of still forming. You try to pull at the handle of the door, and it seems like it has been glued shut as it's formed
I immediately turn and spray a burst of automatic gunfire at the window.
At the window? Yeah, roll to kick some ass. Roll tough.
Yes. Okay. Roll tough. I'm not that tough. Hiya! Oh, double hiya!
Oh, nice. Yeah, so it is, you will get a extra effect on a 10 plus. I'm not going to make you take any harm because it is just a window you're firing at.
Cool. My first fight.
Yeah, on a 10 plus, you gain the advantage, take +1 forward to give +1 forward to another hunter. You inflict terrible harm to a window. You suffer less harm, or you force them where you want them. I would probably, if you would like my suggestion, I would just give you a +1 forward or +1 forward to another hunter, considering that you are just attacking the window.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give a +1 forward to Ben.
Okay. So did you advance tough, Greg?
I did, yes.
So when you advance a basic stat like that, like I let you guys do, if you roll a 12 plus for that,
right,
you'll get to take one of the advanced effects.
That's what I thought, but I don't add to the actual.
Yeah, you don't add to the actual. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure before I did anything.
No problem. Mm-mm. So as you shatter this glass, Charlotte, the sun was already shining in the room, so it's not as if like the sun is affecting the shadow or anything. This is clearly a very supernatural shadow. Doesn't seem affected by it. But you do watch as the loud noise of the automatic gun fires out in this small space, makes all of your ears ring for a moment. But the glass does shatter. You all watch as the shadow begins to form into a more solid figure, and it's going to look over toward you, Sunny. It cocks its head, and I need you to act under pressure. Act under pressure as you feel this sort of coldness go up the back of your spine.
Okay, I'm gonna use my advantage on this.
Okay, roll plus cool.
I didn't advance it, but I'm gonna roll it anyway.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. You feel this coldness begin to crawl up your spine, and it's almost like you feel sadness, Sonny. You feel this overwhelming just need to cry, to curl up, to just not do anything. But after a moment, you watch as it cocks its head to someone else, and you shake the feeling off, and you're able to move. What would anyone else like to do?
I think after this sort of passes, her skin almost kind of goes gray, and her eyes seem just a little bit more hollow, and it's like her joints sort of almost fall out of place. And I think she's going to move forward. This might get me in trouble, but I'm gonna bite it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me a kick some ass.
I'm also gonna use my advantage on this.
Burn them.
I'm burning them. Where's my sheet? There it is. Nope.
Well, mark experience. Also, Greg, don't forget to mark experience for that fail, even though you used a lot. You will get to mark experience. But as you try to bite this creature, you get a hold on it. I'm going to let you do some harm. What does your bite do?
It does 3 harm.
Okay, yeah, you manage to do some harm on it. I think you have a complete hold on it. But that feeling that you had just shaken off, Sunny, takes over completely in a way that you cannot get rid of. And you all watch as Sunny, who is already a very pale woman, goes even paler and gaunter. And she falls to the ground, almost in the position she had bit the creature with. Unable to move. Her eyes are wide open. There's life there. You can all see it, but she cannot move. She cannot fight through it. And you watch as the shadow begins to grow just a little bit more.
That for me would be a reason to try to activate the glyphs that I had painted earlier. And so you would see as Thomas takes a smoking cigarette and actually starts sort of rubbing it between his hands and saying an incantation in Latin, and also making some hand movement as the glyphs on all 4 walls begin to glow, sort of a very, very bright blue color. So let me double check with the magic rolls. Would that still fall under basic?
Yeah, that's just use magic unless you, yeah.
But it's not it's not big magic, right? It's
no,
normal?
You're just because
Banish
that's how
a
you
spirit.
flavored. Yeah, you can roll weird.
Yeah. All right, let's give that a try. Wait, I have so many. Where's my? Oh, there's my profile. All right, here we go. Come on. Oh, I keep forgetting that it pops up this little.
Ooh.
Okay, on a 10 plus, the magic works without issues. You choose your effect.
Yeah, I'm kicking this motherfucker out as I see my sister go down. At least I hope it's enough. It has enough oomph to do that.
So I think, explain what this looks like, Petra, as you watch as its glyphs glow bright, but yours begin to glow brighter. So I think you can tell it's trying to fight it. But the sort of damage that Sunny was just able to do, it's not strong enough. What does it look like as you are successfully able to banish this creature?
So basically what this does, it forces the thing to either go back the way it came, sort of to use the same conjure glyphs and go out that way, or in any other way. But basically it makes it untenable for this thing to stay in this room and in the vicinity. So it's almost like I don't know if it's going to screech or something, but
you all hear this sort of loud screech. It's not even a noise as much as it is in the back of your head, and you watch as it's almost as if it's being like hoovered away back into the glyphs where it came from. The lights flicker again, and the room goes back to normal except for the shattered glass. The door, you hear that little pop of the door letting loose as it begins to slowly open. You can hear the nurses elsewhere working normally as they've heard nothing, and you see Sunny laying there.
I rush over to her.
She's laying there with life in her eyes, but there's no movement. She's very, very pale, very gaunt. And you watch as the glyphs lose the color they had. And that's where we'll end it this week.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Got a big fight and everything.
Hoovered away. Oh.
I feel a little bit awesome. I bent it first.
Whatever that
was. That was
awesome. It's such a good feeling.
I had a super quick question.
Yeah, of course.
Just while I'm trying to still get comfortable with this system, there's a move called Protect Someone. Is that like a reaction thing where after Sunny rolled badly and got hurt, I can protect, or is it?
So the way that I do Protect Someone is it is something you call before you do it. If you know that like they're going to attack, so you know that she's going to attack, you call that you're going to before she's going to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's
Because
good to know.
if it is used as sort of a reaction, it sort of negates what is going on. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna go around and do outros and plugs and all of that good stuff. We'll start with Petra.
Yes, hello everybody. First of all, thank you again to both Katie and Greg for having this lovely show. Greg for allowing it and Katie for running it. This has me super stoked and getting to play with all of you lovely people. So I can't wait for the next session. And yeah, you can find me. I'm on the interwebs. I'm quite active on Twitter at p4,000, and then I'm also writing games and publishing them. You can find them on my itch page at petrav.itch. No, wait, that was my main website. petrav.itch.io. Yes, that's the one. Thank you.
Jess, what about you?
It's a me. It's a Jess. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. I'm super excited to be on Samhain. That one. I love it. I think PBTA is really cool, and we just get to lean into weird narratives. This one's super spoopy. I also do other things occasionally, but just find me on Twitter.
Dingo, what about you?
Thanks so much for having me. This was super fun. I can't wait for more. You can find me on Twitter at Where's My Dingus. Tuesdays, you can find me on Off the Table playing Alas for the Awful Sea. Every other Wednesday, you can find me also on Off the Table playing Burning Wheel. Thursdays, I'm on Indoor Adventures playing D&D 5e Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And then Fridays, you can obviously find me here, and every other Friday, you'll be able to find me in the evening on Off the Table playing D&D 5e Tales from Thersha.
Seth, what about you?
Hi, I'm Seth David Andrew Hubbard. Thank you so much for having me. I am super stoked for this game, and I'm super stoked specifically to be basically the Marines from Aliens, where I think my machine gun's gonna solve everything, and it almost never does. But yeah, I'm stoked for these characters, and I'm glad they all met up and we kind of initiated how they're gonna interact with each other. That's always fun for episode 1. I am on Twitter at Sender, UH_Sender. Same address for Twitch streaming, which I'm going to be doing a little bit more of hopefully in the near future. I'm also on Keep Lorelai's Urban Shadows podcast, and that comes out twice a month about, and that's it. Yeah.
I'm Katie. You can find me all over the internet at Katie Face. I am on various shows on Off the Table. I am on a couple of shows on the Greyhawk channel, which are wrapping up this month. I am also on Cape Lorelai, making Seth's life hell, which is my favorite activity. Yeah, thank you all so much for letting me run this. Thank you for playing. Thank you, Greg, for having me. I love finally having you all together. I am hype as hell. This is amazing. This is so great. I'm gonna throw it over to Greg.
I had so much fun. I love everything about what's going on, about everything. The only thing that I wish I would have done, and I knew it. I knew I should have just, I should have butted in. I knew I should have gone before Thomas. I knew it. I knew I should have gone before Thomas in the fight. I knew it. I knew it in my bones.
There's blood.
I was like, here come those glyphs. There goes my bloodlust. No, I'm joking. I had.
You're a cinnamon bun. You're not allowed to have bloodlust.
I don't. He doesn't.
Chance.
Right. Greg got very upset, and Ben was like, "Oh, we won, yay!" And no one was hurt for real. And I'm like, "Shut up, Ben." No, but no, I had just an absolute blast. In chat, people said, "How can you play somebody nice?" I don't know. Ben's actually. I really enjoyed the character, and this group just. Seldom do you start a campaign where you say, this group's been together for a month, 6 months, 2 years, and it feels like they've been together a month, 6 months, 2 years. This group feels like it's been together for that projected time. And I really enjoy that. It's a testament to all of your fantastic skills as our peers, and of course Katie's fantastic skill as weaving this all together with the storyteller. And the kid in me, whenever the peek under the bed and there and the narrative was there's something there, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Because it was just so scary. I love it.
And of course I had to skip away from it. Duh. I couldn't
Right,
stand there.
I love it. I love everything about it. Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. We have a lot of fun things coming up on Monday nights. We have the Realms Remembered from 6 to 9-ish p.m., followed by The Road to Desperation, which is our Deadlands tale run by the other doc, Jim. It's really fun. Everything's great. We have a lot of really fun things happening kind of in our in-between sessions between now through the holidays and the start of 2020. But join us on Friday afternoon, friends, for what is quickly becoming a fantastic and scary little midday terror-filled tingle. I can't wait to get back here next week. Katie, do you have anything else to send us away?
I mean, just come hang out for this lunch campaign when Dingo's going to describe everything in detail that Sunny eats. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Either eat early or eat late. Don't eat during.
Don't eat during.
Gonna create a menu for y'all.
No.
I think I'm the only one who's actually enjoying that. Not in a weird. No, that came out wrong. That came out wrong.
Well, it's getting late, Petra. We have to.
I think on that we need to go.
Please don't turn that into a clip. And now it's gonna happen.
Fantastic, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week. And as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play with your friends. See you next time.